Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today I have my paper pumpkin alternatives for July 2021. And it's a lovely kit, just as it is, but you know me, I take it apart and make lots of cards from it. And let's just get started. Okay, so this is the paper pumpkin. It is called The Adventure Begins July 2021, and the kit makes 12 cards, and these cards are just as cute as they can be. They're trifold cards. So there's a piece that comes in from this side, in from this side, and they both open up, and there's another piece in the back. And they're all about adventure. This one is a little camper. This one is mountains and trees. And this one is a lantern with fireflies. And it's just a darling kit. There's lots of colors that coordinate in addition to the ones given on the kit. I also use Soft Seafoam and mint macaron. These are the alternatives that were provided on the paper pumpkin kit. One makes one look a little bit more like nighttime. This one has snowflakes around it. This one just has trees and some twine. And I ended up making 7 cards, and I think you're going to like them. Let me tell you a little bit about what comes in your kit. So there is, first of all, this stamp set, and this stamp set has a solid tree and then a tree that you can overstamp that makes it look like pine needles. Then we've got something that says dream big, aim high. Then we have a splatter. We have explore, congrats, let the adventure begin, this world awaits you, and let your light shine. So it's quite a nice little stamp set, good for your stash. It's got a lot of good things. A lot of these things would be really wonderful for graduation cards. And so let me show you what else you get. The real extender on this one is the envelope. This envelope, as you can see, has lots of colors, lots of layers on it. I use the flap several times in the card making. I also use the top of the card, the bottom of the card. I cut one of these in half and used the front. And I used one where I just used the whole front of the card. And it's bigger than a standard size card because it's the envelope your cards fit in. So you can cut this away and just put this on the front at 4 by 5 1/4 and use it that way. These are the cards themselves. So they're 3 folds. This piece folds in. Isn't that pretty with all of that tree detail? And then this little camper folds over the top. And on this one, I think all they had was the banner here to make the card. But isn't that pretty? And I'm never going to use a piece of paper like that. I'll take it off and I'll make 3 cards out of that. That's just the way I function. This is the second card, and it's the same kind of thing. So this one has these trees that are cut out in the front. This flap is like a hillside in the dusk or evening with the moon up above. And so you get that look when you put that card together. Very, very pretty. The last card base is this one. And it's got this kind of evening again, maybe with a moon up here. Little, I don't know whether that's supposed to be fruit or fireflies there. And then this lantern. And I think these are just darling cards, just made up just the way they are. Awfully cute. In fact, I may do one set of cards just that way for myself. Now, what I did on mine is this envelope gives you this blue background, all of this material, along with these other pieces, extends this kit pretty tremendously. I made 7 cards by using one of each card. And then beyond that, I took these sheets and turned them into other kinds of cards, and generally got more than 1 or 2 or 3 out of just that one page. You also get some trees. You get 2 different kinds of trees. These green trees, and then these that have kind of a blue cast. And I think in all cases I cut mine off of this banner and just used them separately. So I did keep this though, because I thought that would make a perfect stencil if you wanted to ink up a blending brush or a sponge, or even a dauber, and put some detail on to get a sponged look for your cards. And so I kept that piece. You also get this page of stickers, and not stickers, labels. These are all banners with a flagged tail and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circular labels here. I think this is the only one I used out of this. This one came off and it's probably in the box someplace. Then your spot this time is garden green, and you get a little package of dimensionals, glue dots, and then these adhesive backed sequins in blue and kind of this orangey color. And that, if you think about going with some of the scenes, really kind of fit in there. And like I said, I made 7 cards, and I could have kept going. I just kind of ran out of time more than anything. So this is one of the cards that I made, and this is part of, let's see if I can show you which part of the one with the lantern. And what I did on this is I cut this in half, and then I cut this off, and then put a mat on 2 of them here so that I could get this tree detail and use 2 panels to make 2 different cards from it. So I ended up making 2 cards out of this, and in fact this piece down here comes off of the bottom of one of those panels that I used there. This bottom came off of the envelope. But let's just take a look at this one. I also used the Vine Design stamp set, because with all of the leaves, I decided I wanted a spray of leaves stamped on here, and I did that in the garden green. And I laid this little piece of envelope. Let me grab that envelope so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. I used this back part of the envelope here and laid that down, and then stamped these 2 pieces together, and then lifted this up on dimensionals. So I used the stamp that said Explore on this one, and then I stamped some more of those leaves inside with a couple of those little fireflies, and used some of our in color gems here in the yellow on those firefly wings. I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do. So that's my card number 1. This one is card number 2, and it's the rest of this panel that went across there, matted again. And because it had that little light source there that looked like a moon, I thought that the stamp says let your light shine, and then with more of the fireflies actually worked pretty well. And on this one I used some of our Champaigne rhinestones, because the gold kind of lent itself to these little spots that are in the tree here. And on the inside, I simply used a piece from the envelope that had all of the colors on the inside. And you could really put another piece of this soft seafoam if you wanted to layer that up and make it a little bit more interesting, and then lay that piece down. But that is card number 2, and so both of those came from one of the panels. This card is the one with the trees that are cut out, and this background is actually part of that card. But what I did was I cut it off, moved it so that I could see this little moon, and turned it into a Christmas card like the first snow. And I used my gel pen to add little snowflakes on the tree and then down here on the card, and then made this flat against the back of this piece to support my sentiment, because this is done on that envelope flap and the paper's pretty thin. And then I put gems on there that came with one of my kits, that is the white with kind of a blue cast. I think it came in the butterfly kit. And on the inside I put Merry Christmas. I just stamped one of those trees and then took a nice big chunk of one of those envelopes and put it on here. So this and this came off of one envelope, and you'll see here that I tore apart a couple of those envelopes for different pieces, and it just extends this kit tremendously. So that is my card number 3. So the next one I did using the little motorhome here, really a trailer, and I put "Let the Adventure Begin," and I added an exclamation point. And I left this one pretty much the way it was, but I took another piece of the inside of, let's see, which card is it? This one. And I took a strip of that and matted it with that envelope flap, and then stamped it so my Explorer showed through the front and then again on the inside. And so I got some of that background here. And see, there's what it would have looked like with that full background. And this way I get background on the inside and the outside. That is my card number 4. And let's see, I used some of those in color rhinestones. These are Evening Evergreen. So my next card is this one, and I used another piece of this designer series paper, and in fact I had yet another piece of that paper matted and ready to go to make another card, but again I ran out of time, and I had backed it on a piece of that envelope, this part of the envelope in the back. And so when you think about it, this, because this is the front of the envelope, and what I did was I took my piece of card and just laid it across here and chopped it off to make this little focal piece here, and then put my piece like this right in the center. And then I used a piece of mint macaron, part of that envelope from the back. And then I thought this mossy meadow and pretty peacock ribbon really worked well with this. And these are the soft succulent in color gems. And I couldn't do a set without making a happy birthday stamp. So this happy birthday came from that Vine Design stamp set. And on the inside, I put a piece of mint macaron and another piece of that envelope. So I think that this, and this all came from one envelope. And it just extends the design just pretty amazingly. And I like the idea of all of these layers because the paper itself has all of these layers on it. And I'm really tickled with the way that one came out. Very, very pretty little card. Card number 5. Then I did another Christmas card, and I couldn't resist. I fussy cut out a few pieces from that Whimsey and Wonder paper that I thought where the green matched the cards here, and put a little bit of holly on the corner of this. This Merry Christmas came from Perfectly Plaid, which carried over from last season. And then these white dots here came from my lots of, I can't remember what this is called, something like Lots of Sequins or something, but it's got red and green and gold and silver and white. It just got all kinds of crazy things in it. And I used some of those there, and then I used some of the Genial gems also on this one, and used 2 of the trees and did my Merry Christmas, and then I fussy cut out one of the trees from that Whimsey and Wonder paper there for the inside of the card. And that's my card number 6. Then this was my final one, and I cut the lantern off of the edge of here and moved it down. What I did for this part of the card is I used the stamp, the solid stamp, and then did the other stamp over it, and kind of hard to see, you can barely see them right here in person. And then I put fireflies kind of all over, inside and out, and then I put a piece of vellum over it so that it looked like maybe dusk, and the moon coming up and the lantern providing a little bit of light, and it says, "Let the adventure begin." Then I backed that whole piece with just a piece of white to hide the smaller piece that I had here where I did my stamping, and I think I even sponged in some blue sky on this one. Then on the inside I put a piece of the mint macaron and a piece of that envelope flap, and then stamped one of those trees again with the little tick marks on it. And I'm pretty pleased with the way that one came out. That one is my card number 7. So those are my projects this time. I had a lot of fun with this kit, and like I said, I have most of my kit left. I think I used 3 of the 12 card bases, plus a couple of envelopes to make these 7 cards. So I think, depending on what you wanted to do, I think the kit itself is pretty cute. These little cards that fold over are just as cute as they can be. And so I probably make up the way they came, at least one of each, and then I'll probably tear the rest of them apart and do this kind of thing with mine. So I think if you're just a little bit cautious and have a little bit of imagination, you can get 30-40 cards out of this set. And for anybody in summertime and camping and people that love the outdoors, these are great little cards. So that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. We're going to have a fabulous offer starting August the 3rd with Celebration, our second Celebration of the year. Very exciting. We're just days away now from the catalog that comes out that's called July to December, although we're launching it in August. Holiday themes, fall things, Thanksgiving themes, Halloween, Christmas. There's a lot of really pretty stuff in there. Let's see, this is still July, so my prize draw for the month is the Grapevine Bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies. And I keep promising to do something with that set so you can see how it might be used, and I'm going to try and do that this next week so that it will be something that you can see about what the prize is for the month. That's it for me. The paper sale is almost done. You've got a couple more days for 15% off on an unlimited supply of, I think there's 7 to 9 different papers. There's a post on my blog which talks about the papers and gives you the names, the pictures of the papers, and the numbers for ordering. And so that's left. And then there was a flyer in this paper pumpkin for next month that there is something called the Hope Box that's coming, and it's one that Shelley Gardner has had her hand in designing, and I love Shelley's work. I think really looking forward to that one as well. So that's it for me. I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!